I'd like to welcome everyone to today's program. We're going to talk about rug cleaning and not so much the how-to, but the history of it, how it's evolved over the years, and what's going on now in the world of rug cleaning. To do that, I welcome a friend and colleague, Tom Monahan. Tom, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Tom, you and I have some history as well. We go way back, and I've done a couple of rug plant tours with you. Very
Mhm.
impressive. Let's set you up as the expert. Tell us about your rug cleaning career and the companies you own or work with.
Well, we go back in time to when I started cleaning professionally, 1977. I started out in the carpet cleaning world, portables, and then quickly advanced to truck-mounted units. And then I covered all textiles, furniture cleaning. I even ran a water damage restoration company, fire damage restoration company. And then as the years went by, I got more serious about rug washing. And so that changed the way I treated that textile. So we went to full immersion washing, and that led up till more current times. I don't own the cleaning companies any longer. 5 years ago, I sold that to a local businessman, but I'm still in the manufacturing and designing and selling of rug washing equipment.
So, what was it about rug washing that interested you? Because you were doing a lot of things that some might say is more enjoyable than rug washing, but you didn't see it that way. Tell us about that.
That's exactly true. As in my opinion, carpet cleaning became more of a commodity, albeit we tried to cater to an upper echelon of clients. I never turned down all the prospects, but rug washing became a little bit more predictable. It was confined in plant. We can control the outcome a lot better. And so that's basically why I went in that direction. Some call it a little more glamorous because not a lot of people were doing it. It took a special skill set to be able to accomplish it, and not a lot of people would commit to doing that. So that's just something I chose for my market.
Memory lane, time for that. Now, you've seen a lot of changes over the years. How has rug washing evolved in your career?
Well, what I observed when I first came into the business was a lot of what we would call floor washing or pit washing. Containment pits were being built. That was taught a lot in the early years that I have observed personally. However, that did not uh, come about as something new. It was done all over the world. But in the United States, since earlier times, there were in-plant rug washing facilities, largely converted laundry facilities that went into the textile care with automated machines at that point. And so I saw both things occurring. For me, at first, I went into the boutique washing, into the pit washing and containment washing on the floor. But around 2005, I actually got an automated machine called a more time-saving piece of equipment that happened to be called a Rollerjet. So I was able to experience both things that I had already been observing in the rug washing industry.
Now, you mentioned, we'll talk more about equipment in a bit, but you mentioned how rug cleaning in the States might be different than other countries. I believe you alluded to that. What have you seen when you travel the world with
Well,
rug cleaning?
yes, it depends on the scale, the economic scale. I've seen floor washing, river washing, washing in bodies of water like lakes, and then scrubbing, almost harkening back to when you would wash clothes on a washboard. I've seen that kind of work done in various countries. However, what we might consider that to be primitive really is effective, but you can't scale up with that. Or I've seen wash plants in various parts of the world from the style that I was just mentioning, floor washing, containment washing in pits and so forth, to automated rug washing. So I've been in other parts of the world, specifically in European countries, where in-plant rug washing became more committed, and so that they had mechanized equipment to be more automatic in their approach to things. So they could scale up and do hundreds of rugs in a week.
Yeah. No, I know there's difference. You have companies that want to do hundreds of rugs, and you have a person in a village in some country who wants to wash his rug in the river. They both get clean, correct?
That's true.
If you were to name some top innovations that have improved the rug cleaning industry, what would those look like? What would they be?
Well, doing a little research, I reached back to the turn of the previous century. So going back into the early 1900s, uh, largely due to the laundry plant facilities who already understood using equipment to scale up to clean linens and clothes and things of that nature. They entered the rug washing in plant. And the innovation there was machinery to help them dust rugs and process washing rugs and drying rugs. So that was the emergence of rinse rug wringers. And they basically mimicked the washing machine that grandma had back in the day, where the rugs would wash and then you would crank them through a wringer and so forth. They were just bigger machines at that point.
Now, Tom, I was thinking um, rug washing became an interest that you had, but it could probably get monotonous over time, doing the same thing over and over again. What has kept your interest over the years? Has it been the equipment you've helped develop, or the advancements in technology, or just the fact you can get out every single stain and odor there is?
Well, for me, speaking for me, it became enjoyable to wash rugs because there was always something different. There was always new challenges, it would seem. Some things had predictable outcomes, others did not. And so those challenges required a more sophisticated approach, perhaps a skill set that could not be learned overnight. In fact, it never ends, the learning process of rugs. What I also liked was the hand woven rugs were essentially art that we walked on. And so these were handcrafted pieces, textiles that became so enjoyable to look at as you're washing them and seeing the outcome. So um, I wouldn't consider myself a rug nut, as some of my colleagues are, and just love them to pieces and feel like they got to hug them. But I did enjoy the beauty of the artwork, and I don't miss that even to this day.
So, do you want to name those rug nuts on camera? No, you don't.
No, I do not.
Many of those watching know who you're talking about, but it's you say it in jest, but it's true. There are many they're fans of it. They love what they do and the art as you do.
And it doesn't become work. If you love what you're doing, right, it's not work.
Exactly. So let's dig into something that happens a lot, and I've done it myself. In fact, I've never operated or worked in a rug plant myself, but I have owned a carpet cleaning company with big truck mounts, and I've cleaned many area rugs in a home, in a driveway with my truck mount, screaming 230 degrees, lots of pressure, vacuum. I don't think I've ever ruined a rug. Maybe I have.
Well,
One told me
yeah.
about it. Let's talk about that, Tom, because you've owned a cleaning company with truck mounts. You've probably done the same thing at times. Is that a good practice? Should we avoid it altogether? Is there a blend of approach? Can you talk about that? Truck mounts, implant. What if you don't have an implant access?
Well, I try to explain to people that ask that question, even now, that to thoroughly wash a hand knotted, hand woven rug, it needs complete saturation with water. And there's an inability of doing that with a truck mount. So basically, can you clean or make the appearance of a rug clean? And I'm talking about hand woven rugs with a truck mount. Well, you can, but you got to understand the limitations because of where you're injecting the water, where you're extracting the water out is not through the whole foundation typically. So If you sell it or market it as appearance maintenance, I believe that most people would be okay with that. But when it comes to washing a rug, and that's why the term is used, washing, not hot water extracting or steam cleaning, then typically what you want to be able to do is get all the dry soil out of it, which is essential, even as you know, in the carpet cleaning world, you vacuum first. But for a hand woven rug, it's really embedded deep inside. So there's different dusting techniques to jiggle that dry soil out. So different types of equipment are available to make that happen. And then to completely wash a rug, you need to be able to completely rinse a rug and completely, if as much as possible, get the highest percentage of the loose water out of the rug after it's sopping wet. And so that's where in-plant washing with the various styles of equipment become superior.
You used a term, I don't know if I've heard in the industry, jiggle the dirt away. Is that a Tomism?
Just something that extemporaneously came out of my mouth. That's correct.
We all know what you mean. I don't know, Tom. When I cleaned area rugs and driveways and there was red dye running down the driveway into the street, I thought that was normal.
Well, it depends on the textile. It might be normal for that textile.
No,
But that's another reason why you need a controlled environment. And that's another reason why top cleaning in somebody's home is probably not a good process.
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know when it was, Tom, but years ago, I think you called me or texted me and you said, "Hey, we acquired more time-saving equipment." And I'm like, okay.
So what?
I didn't know but I've learned that it's a company that's been around a long time. So you own it. I know you were excited about it. I mean, you called me and there were many other people you could have called. Maybe you did call everybody. I don't know. What does that mean for Tom Monahan and your company owning more time-saving equipment?
Well, first of all, by calling you, that means that you're a big shot. And so you needed to know. But for me, becoming part of that storied company.
This is an aerial view of the more time-saving equipment operation in Elkhart, Indiana. You can see all the cars in the parking lot. That was the supporting staff of about 50 men that worked on the floor in this building right here. You would also notice in the parking lot, they took in used pieces of equipment for the purpose of refurbishing and repurposing them to the public. The Moore family actually bought the houses right next door to their operation and actually had tunnels underground so they could safely leave the facility into the homes in times of war, if that should happen. Remember, the company was started in 1949, and all during the Cold War, the threat of atomic blasts were real on the people's minds.
You know, it demonstrated American ingenuity because back in 1949, when it came into existence, it was not that it introduced rug washing that hadn't been introduced before with machines, but the style and the traction it got because of the style of its development became very impressive. It became an international company. And in 2012, there's a lot of clients out there that were concerned about parts and servicing of their machines. They're out in the marketplace for decades because they stood this test of time. So it was important for me to be able to acquire that company and keep the legacy going, and which worked out. I bought the company from Ron Moore, the son of the founder, Arthur, and his uncle Greg. So that's what it meant for me, and it's been going on strong now. This year is 75 years in existence. And so our clients appreciate that. We've, of course, had built brand new more machines since the acquisition in 2012. And so we got new versions out in the marketplace as well.
I know it's something you're proud of, and congratulations on that. And 75 years is a milestone. We'll talk again when it's 100.
Okay.
We might be a little slower.
Yeah. If I'm even around, right?
So let's wrap up with some advice. For those who are watching this, maybe they're on location cleaners. They're thinking about getting into rug cleaning. Now, of course, to do it right, as we've talked about, an in-plant operation is the way to go. Different ways to do that, whether you buy a system like the more time saving equipment or a rug wash pit. But no matter what, from a business viewpoint, what would you tell them if they're starting out?
Way more important than acquisition of equipment, which of course, more time saving equipment is for scaling up and doing volume. Centrum Forest, the company that acquired more time saving equipment, has just a number of different pieces to the puzzle that can help you achieve what you want to do. But putting that all aside, the skill set is way more important than any one piece of equipment. And so I would encourage people to get highly educated before they even commit to washing rugs for themselves in plant. Then that becomes a commitment of a lifetime. So you got to continue your education. It's not one and done. So that's the first thing. Then the second thing is to commit to space, commit to what that space would look like, how it would be, the infrastructure, the plumbing, the electrical, power, heat, all that all those things are necessary in a rug plant to be fully operational. How much you're going to allocate to that space so that you have room for capacity or scaling up. So those things come later. Education comes first. That's my opinion.